Welcome back to Fantasy and Chill Week 10/11. Joined by Britt.
What's up, y'all?
What up? And as always, producer Matt.
So, y'all.
It wasn't the same tone.
I know, I'm not trying to be exactly like him.
Oh, I thought you were.
Well, maybe now.
Okay. Big week in fantasy. Some more high-scoring games. Lots of studs this week. Let's go ahead and get it started with our...
Oh, I didn't know we were going to go right into it. I had a question before we were going to ask.
Oh, then...
Do the fantasy studs.
Let's hear it.
Well, I wanted to wait till we're on the live stream to ask because I thought it was good content. But I was scrolling through Facebook and it's getting a little cold out. And I saw a picture of this guy. He had socks on his toilet seat. I was wondering what is y'all's thoughts on that? Do or don't?
So my routine in the morning when it gets cold is I go, because I run the AC at night while I'm sleeping because it's got to be cold, like freezing when I'm sleeping.
Okay.
But I immediately, when I wake up, go and turn the heater on real quick while I'm getting ready. And so hopefully that'll help a little bit with the coldness of the bathroom when I sit down. But it's the toilet seat is still pretty cold. So yeah, I can see where the socks would help.
You don't think that's gross though?
It's pretty gross. I don't think I definitely wash the socks.
No poop socks.
Or you could get like you ever go to like an old person's house and they just have like the carpet toilet seats.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Britt
on
sits down when he pees, so
it's more comfortable. So I like the cold.
I mean, we could have a whole podcast on just how we take poops.
I mean, we could get into wiping techniques and all sorts of stuff.
But that would be like an hour podcast just in itself. So we can continue now with our
fantasy studs.
There it is. Fantasy studs. Our first stud, my boy. 1 second while I talk here. You went to A&M, Aggie. Let me find this picture. I got a picture with him.
Oh.
My first picture with a fantasy stud. So I got to pull
probably your only one.
Probably my only. Yes. I'm
going to keep stalling because
I'm almost there. I got a picture with what?
With me. I'm a stud. That's in a lot of people's fantasies.
So if you can look on my screen here for watching the video, it's me and Christian Kirk.
Oh.
You see I'm taller than him.
So huge forehead.
On him or me?
Both, kind of.
That was after A&M beat Arkansas a couple years ago at Cowboy Stadium. But Christian Kirk is our first stud. 6 catches, 138 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And guess who started him in our league? Mr. Rain Man himself. Pulled out the Christian Kirk start. Britt, do you have the stat of what he was started? You usually have that.
In his defense, he had been starting him for quite some time.
He had, and I actually made the comment this week as we were sitting. I was sitting there like kind of looking at everybody's team, and I asked Austin, I said, why is he starting Christian Kirk when he has Devontae Freeman and somebody else I said on his bench? Well, turns out he knew. Do we have that percentage started, Britt, stat?
Dude, it's got to be less than 25. I'll get it for you in 1 second.
Because I saw that he's only owned in like 78%, which is pretty low for a guy that you would start. He has been doing better recently, and I know not everybody on this podcast is a fan of Matthew Berry, but Matthew Berry was hyping him up pretty hard this week before the game.
Okay. He was 42% started in ESPN.
42% started. More than I would think. Derek had the start. Derek was rewarded with, I think he had 38, 37, something like that. Rain Man strikes again. Rain Man's got a couple names on this list. Actually, no, he doesn't. What am I thinking?
Now, I mean, can you trust Kirk going forward? I mean, I feel like he's a week-to-week starter, yes, depending on who you have at other wide receivers. But was this the product of just a terrible Buccaneer secondary? They're 32nd ranked in points allowed on a fantasy-wise.
Well, the thing is that it's an explosive offense, or at least it's designed to be. Kyler's going to throw the ball around. Christian Kirk is definitely his favorite target, most explosive target. Going into the season, I really liked Larry Fitzgerald's chances because I thought that he would get a ton of targets and receptions in his offense. And he started out the year really well, but he has definitely fallen off lately. Had a decent game Sunday, but Christian Kirk has emerged as that guy, the home run hitter.
Yes.
And I I wouldn't feel good about him as a wide receiver too moving forward, but he's been
He's flexible.
performing like one. And if I had to play him in the flex, I wouldn't feel terrible.
He does have a solid floor. Like he's had one game under 3. Other than that, he's had 8, 16, 11, 6, 14, and then 38. So I mean, out
Right.
of his 95 points, he got almost 40 of them in one game. All 3 touchdowns on the year were in that game too. But he's seen double-digit targets. This was his 4th time.
And see, that's another thing you can get into is that you always say play the volume, not the touchdowns. And the touchdowns finally came. He'd been getting the volume, the targets. So it was just a matter of time before he scored a few touchdowns. Now, didn't think it would happen all in one game, but
Tampa Bay,
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
You knew that was
where
going to be a
everyone
high
goes
scoring
full
game.
retard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're gonna hype up Matthew Berry, then I want to hype up ourselves because during the live stream, I don't know if Britt was with me at that point, but I did say start Christian Kirk over Galladay. Galladay had a good game too, but Christian
That
Kirk
was
was a
that
little
one
better.
play, yeah. But yeah,
That was a pretty good call there, Matt. I don't know if I would have said that.
It
Well, I
wasn't
guess
my
did you
team,
know
so
that Stafford was out by then?
yeah, we knew at that point.
Okay. Well, that makes a difference.
Before we move on, we have one question real quick in YouTube. Just when we make it yes or no, would you drop Goff or Nick Foles?
No.
I would. Yeah,
I would as well.
golf is just terrible.
Yeah,
and they
but
play the Bears coming up.
I know it hasn't happened, but you still like at some point you keep saying to yourself, "Okay, the Rams are going to get going here. They're going to get going. They got way too much talent."
I don't believe it at all.
I mean, Nick Foles hadn't played since week 1.
It's not about that. It's about the system that he's going to take over.
The system of feeding Leonard Fournette.
No, they've had a top passing attack also.
I don't know. I still think at that point, if you're dropping Goff for Foles, then I would just wait it out with Goff. Not like Foles is some sure thing.
Okay,
Alright.
I mean, golf does have a few matchups where I might play him. Chicago, no, but then he's got Baltimore, Arizona, Seattle. I'd probably play him in all those, but then he ends with Dallas, San Francisco. Probably not playing.
I mean, like I said, it's Foles, so it's not like it's some sure thing you're getting.
That's
Hopefully, you have another quarterback. Okay,
Yeah.
next stud. Speaking of quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, my quarterback. Man, I should have got a Lamar jersey. Would have been awesome. He was 15 of 17 for 223 yards and 3 touchdowns, a perfect passer rating. Also added 7 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown, and probably the best quarterback run you will ever see. It's pretty amazing. You think back to that commercial with like the Michael Vick experience, that run versus the Vikings in that overtime game. Yeah, that was better yesterday, what Lamar Jackson did. He is so damn fast.
he is, and I like him, but I saw 3 of there was a highlights on the TV and 3 of his balls that he thrown. He cannot throw a spiral to save his life.
No,
And I
he threw
feel
one, and I was like, that was Uncle Rico right there. The way he threw it,
it's just
Ring.
his rushing numbers are what's giving him these high numbers right now. I mean, his passing this game, yes, he did throw for 3 touchdowns, but if any team is able to just kind of corral him, they haven't been able to yet.
right. You keep saying that,
I know. I
and he
think
just
they're-
took out the Patriots last week.
Yes, the only team who really held him in check was Pittsburgh, but that's because they forced 3 picks, and he still ran for 70 yards versus. But
The floor is always going to be there.
okay, we will definitely find out about him in these next 4 games.
Who's
In
got?
my opinion, he's got Houston, the Rams, San Francisco, and then Buffalo. Those aren't top. No,
Those are
San Francisco's
pretty
got
good
defense.
defenses.
Those are good defenses, I'll say.
Wait, we'll see if he can throw against us. That's the big thing, because if he can't throw
Yes.
against us, then he can't throw against anyone. We might be able to hold him in check on the ground, but I don't know.
We play them this week, right?
Yep.
Man, that's gonna be a great matchup. Lamar and Deshaun.
Did y'all see that they had a package this past game where they had 3 Heisman Trophy winners on the field at the same time?
In the same backfield.
Yeah, in the same backfield.
Ran an faked the handoff to Ingram, then ran an option play to RG3. It's pretty dirty.
Then RG3 came in the 4th and threw a pick right away.
So do we like Lamar Jackson beating out Deshaun and Russell to be the #1 QB in fantasy, or do we like one of those other guys?
I just can't see that because he can't. If he could throw it a little bit better, I would 100% agree with you. But
He just had a perfect passer rating.
Against the Bengals.
I know.
Okay, but
that's my whole point.
He doesn't have to air it out.
No, he doesn't. And you're absolutely right about that. But I'm just saying he's going to run into a few teams where he's going to have to. The only teams he's really been dominant passing, Kansas City, he was 50% completion. Cleveland, he had a decent game, but he still had 2
Miami
picks.
game.
Yeah, but that's terrible teams. That's what I'm saying. Arizona, terrible. Kansas City, he had a decent game, but 50% completion.
Here's the thing. I'm not concerned about him as a quote-unquote
No,
quarterback. I'm
yeah.
concerned about him putting up
yeah.
fantasy points.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Next year, I wouldn't, even if he finishes the #1 quarterback this year, I would still take Mahomes, Russell Wilson.
We're not fighting. We're not arguing. We're just talking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He just
for sure.
go.
100%, Britt. 100% that Mahomes would still be the #1 quarterback next
You
year.
got to come up with your own tagline. Y'all just steal mine and think it's funny, but those are my lines I go to. Y'all need to
You have
develop
so
your
many.
own.
You've claimed so many though.
Not really.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
You're just vanilla.
Oh,
You like my chocolate swirl.
I'm that vanilla with chunks of strawberry.
Yeah.
Bitch. All right, next stud. I got to go against the Derrick Henry experience this week. Always kicks it into gear around this time. Matt, you'll remember being at the casino last year watching him put up 52 or whatever. We're going to the casino this week, so it was only natural that Derrick Henry had to show up. Had 23 carries, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also added 2 catches for 3 yards. It was pretty ridiculous because you knew he was getting the ball every single play, and he was just gashing the Chiefs. But what have we said all season about the Chiefs' run defense?
His booty.
Terrible. Derrick Henry. Wasn't he? He was like number 9 going into that game, or even better. We've talked about him having.
Yeah, he's 9.
So he'll move up.
When did Tannehill take over? Was that the Chargers?
Yes, 3 weeks ago.
I think it was. And since then, he's had 17. He did only have 7 versus Tampa Bay, but they actually have a pretty good run defense. He's had 23 Carolina and 35 Kansas City. I think the best thing for him was them moving to Tannehill also. And for the team, obviously.
Oh, for sure. Their offense actually, I mean, they put up, 30-something points this week? Mariota's not doing that.
How the fuck can you not see this though if you're the coaching staff? Like I don't understand. I mean, I know they drafted him high, but so was Tannehill. He was taken high. It's just this is night and day offense.
Talking more about Derrick Henry though, I've been saying for 2 years, even when he was sucking last year, that I thought he should be getting the ball a lot more when they were giving the ball to Dion Lewis, and then they finally let him dominate the carries at the end of last year, and he was the #1 fantasy running back the last whatever it was 6 weeks or whatever.
I mean, I just wish I would have taken my own advice.
Yeah, Mr. Top 2 running back, whatever you said.
He might finish
He's
there
actually
too.
getting pretty damn close, which is pretty amazing.
I have a hard time, but yeah, he'll get close. The only thing that I guess scares you with him though is
49ers.
Is that he doesn't catch the ball that much. So luckily they've been in games recently, but he kind of reminds me like Josh Jacobs, like better.
Okay, but I know you're gonna hate on me for this, but let's go to his remaining schedule. He does have a bye coming up, but which of these games do you see them just being blown out of? Jacksonville, Indy, Oakland, Houston, New Orleans. Maybe New Orleans week 16.
Is it at Houston or at Tennessee?
It's they're playing at home.
I don't think it matters because because
the Texans dominate the Titans at home. You can ask Britt about that.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it that way, I guess, yeah, they'll be in a lot of games. So don't expect him to just fall off a cliff coming up. Should be good for your playoff run.
Not at all. He could win you the ship if you get into the playoff.
So again, this site that I use to bring up pictures, it kind of gives you like a best comparable running back to who you're looking up. And for Derrick Henry, it's Zangief from Street Fighter.
What?
I don't know.
Me and Keller don't get that reference.
I don't know who that is.
The guy that spins. I don't know. Maybe you don't play Street Fighter.
No.
No, we play real games, Matt.
Do you know who that is, Britt?
No, not at all.
What? Oh my god. Okay. Move on. Britt claims himself to be a
Nerd.
gamer and he doesn't even know who Zangief is.
5-point battle sword.
That's you,
Britt,
fucking
shut up.
Warcraft
Go
guy.
play some more WoW, you fucking nerd.
Hey, shut up, pussy. I'll be hating.
Can't add that
Okay,
on the
next
podcast.
stud, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Keyword was back. Don't you have a drop for that, Matt?
Back.
No, you have that Chris Berman.
Oh, I do. Oh no, that was just YouTube. I don't have it ready.
Uh-oh. Patrick Mahomes is back. Immediate stud, 36 of 50, 446 yards, 3 touchdowns. Didn't get the team win, but he got you hopefully a fantasy win. Just back doing Patrick Mahomes things. Obviously feeling good. He threw the ball 50 times. He's going to continue to put up close to 30 every week. Absolute stud. The
Yeah.
guy you thought he would be. I don't know what else to say about him.
Keep going.
Yeah, if you were able to weather the storm with him, he should be able to take over for. He does have a bye, I think, in week 12, so that might hurt a little bit. But
They have no running game right now, so
Someone asked me why people are coming in our live stream on Sunday and asking if they should sit Mahomes this week
no, what was the question? It was
was-
Mahomes
or Breeze.
Breeze, yeah. And I'm like, dude, what are you fucking thinking?
It's like,
trade Breeze
well, I understand Breeze was going up against
or
Atlanta,
trade Mahomes. Jesus.
but what I
Yeah,
told him in the
versus
live
Atlanta.
stream, you don't sit a quarterback you draft in the 3rd round. That's like you
Yeah,
sitting a
don't.
running back you drafted in the 1st round.
Don't sit your studs. Don't get cute. If Mahomes is playing, that means he's healthy enough to perform.
Yeah, you're not going to sit McCaffrey if he comes back from like a calf injury and he's playing against a tough
calf
team.
injury.
Oh, that was
Next
good.
stud. Okay, we'll go.
It's like me. I sat Damian Williams and played Jalen Samuels. Shouldn't have sat my stud, you know?
I need a violin drop. It's a sad
Next
violin
stud.
for you.
Quarterback, New York Giants, Danny Dimes. Man, he's been a stud 2 or 3 times. This
That's a fucking legit nickname too. I don't know who
It's a good
came up with
nickname.
that, but
wasn't us. Wish it
wasn't us. Danny Dimebag.
was.
No.
Daniel Jones, 26 of 40. Why are they letting him throw the ball 40 times? What the hell? 26 of 40, 308 yards, 4 touchdowns. Also added 3 carries, 20 yards. And then we talk about his fumble issues. He had another fumble. I don't know how he fumbles so much.
Maybe
But he
his
still
offensive
ended
line-
up with over 30 fantasy points. Like I said, we started the fantasy and chill season late, and this is still like I think the 3rd time he's been a stud in the 6 weeks we've done this. Just pretty amazing, which just tells you how bad he's been the other weeks.
Yeah.
He's either been a stud or like you can't even play him.
And it's versus good. He's had good matchups too, but this is what I was telling Sam. I said if the Giants had 27, how many points do you think Saquon would have had? At least 15 or 20. And I mean, for Saquon to only end up with 7 and them have 4 touchdowns or whatever it was.
Well, Saquon got banged up again.
True, but I think he still had a lot of touches at
He
that
had
point. didn't he?
13 carries for 1 yard.
Yeah. And he did have 5 catches. He caught all 5 of his targets for 30 yards. And I mean, it's just.
Well, what were you telling me a few weeks ago, Britt?
What do
Do
you
you
mean?
remember that? What were you telling me?
You tell me. I have no clue what you're talking
Matt,
about.
you remember what he was telling me?
Nope.
Maybe we should
telling me-
go over this before the show if you're just going to bring stuff out of the blue.
He was telling me, oh, yeah, I'd still rather have Saquon than McCaffrey.
No, I think
I think
at the end of that
I think I
discussion,
did concede that one to you. I think
Yeah.
I did say
He
did,
McCaffrey.
he did.
No, I did then.
No, at one point you said Saquon.
he started off. I think he was trying to be edgy, like Skip Bayless, which I respect.
Yeah,
But
but then I
at the end,
admitted.
yeah.
Okay, just
Now
I'm just
next
trying to
year,
think about making sure.
would I take Saquon over McCaffrey, number 1 overall? I don't know. Maybe.
That's an interesting discussion on number 1 because you're gonna have the same discussion you did this year. Is it Saquon? Is it McCaffrey? Is it Zeke? Is it Kamara?
Okay, but this year you would have taken Saquon number 1, right, Ryan?
I think
Yes, you would have. Just admit it. You're not Rain Man.
probably
You
yes
didn't see this
because
coming.
I
Yes,
didn't even
exactly.
decide McCaffrey over Kamara until I was sitting there on the couch with the pick. So
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to take Kamara over McCaffrey,
I
but
just had
luckily
a
I didn't get to pick there.
little epiphany there. I knew it all along.
Well, since we're kind of talking about Saquon, I think like a similar running back, which we have a question about on YouTube from John Kelly about Todd Gurley. He says, "Do you think Todd Gurley and Rams offense can turn it around to a high-scoring offense that we know, or is this the new Rams?" I think we kind of touched on that with
the
Goff.
Rams can get going as an offense. I don't know if Todd Gurley will get going as a number 1 running back.
I don't think it's Gurley though. Like at the beginning of the year, I had my doubts about his knee and everything, just because of all the discussion and the hype around it. But I think it's their offensive line. They are terrible. They cannot block. They're not giving him any holes. I mean, the only way, like, I would put Daryl Henderson back there just because he's shifty and quick enough to kind of make his own holes. But Gurley needs them to open up holes.
Love your
Todd
Daryl
Gurley's
Henderson.
shifty and quick too.
He's not. No, he's not. He's not quick like Daryl Henderson, though. Is what I'm saying.
You just love Henderson so much.
No, I
Love him
really
so much
do.
that he dropped him.
I've watched his tape, and I know that's why they
Watch
drafted
the
him.
tape.
I watched his tape. I read the schedule. That's all I need.
Pretty much.
But yeah, to answer that question, I still believe, that the Rams can get it going just due to all the talent they have. But I just don't know if you're ever going to see that Gurley again, at least this year that we.
Yeah, agreed. You're not gonna see the same one you saw in previous years.
It's not like you're dropping him or anything. You're still starting him every week. You have to.
Yeah, where you drafted him still.
Yep.
Okay, last stud. We're going to stay on the Giants here. Rookie wide receiver that's been, solid, okay this year. But he exploded for a career game. 10 catches, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton.
Who?
Pick him up? Question mark?
I feel bad. Okay.
Yeah, he's worth a pickup at least.
So I gave credit to us when we were talking about Christian Kirk, but now I'll take a little backlash because I did say to someone, sit Slayton over Marvin Jones.
And this was knowing that Stafford was out?
Yeah, but could you really know Slayton was going to go for over 100 yards and 4 touchdowns?
I would have
Or not 4 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns. How many did Jones have?
4.
4 touchdowns?
Yeah, he
catches?
had 2 to Golden Tate. Wait, talking about Daniel Jones? Oh, Marvin Jones.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he had like 10 points.
No, he's still solid.
Still solid, but you'd much rather have the 25 or whatever Slayton got.
30.
Damn it.
Everybody on the studs list this week had over 30. All right. That's the end of our studs. There were a few more that we could have thrown in there, but there were guys that we've all mentioned recently. So we didn't need to kind of bottle that up. Do we want to go to? I think we should go to cheers first, even though I have the other segment in front of this, just because I think the next segment is we're gonna spend a lot of time and probably just arguing a bunch. So let's go ahead and get cheers out of the way.
Okay.
So, who wants to go first with their cheers?
I'll go.
Okay, Britt, you go.
I'm going to cheers.
But let me give a quick update so that people know. So we have 2 weeks left after this week. Matt is in first place, clinched. Assuming that he doesn't somehow lose this game, he's basically clinched the playoff spot. With my win this week, I've essentially clinched the playoff spot because I've scored so many points. So basically, it's down to about 5 people competing for 2 spots. Britt is one of those people who faced Turpin this week, and he's going to lose to Turpin. So rough week for Britt. Britt still scored 128 points, so solid showing, but gonna lose to Turpin. With that being said, Britt, who you cheersing?
I am cheersing. You know what? I'm gonna go with Steelers D. They showed up for me. They've been solid all year, no matter really. Besides that first game versus New England, they've been pretty damn good. And I was a little hesitant to start them versus the Rams, just because the Rams are capable of scoring a bunch, but they came through.
They
Steelers
almost got
D.
you back into it.
They got me back into it. I just needed
I
the
don't know if you were watching the end of the game when Fitzpatrick picked off that last one. I was like, oh, he's gonna take it to the house.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching that.
Pretty crazy. Okay, I'll go next. My team put up 135. What? Did my score change? I thought I had 138.
I'm seeing 134.5.
Yeah, I thought maybe I was reading it wrong. Okay, I had 134.5. We already talked about Lamar, and of course, I have McCaffrey. I'm cheersing my defensive replacement this week. Everybody knows I have the Pats defense, #1 defense. So I had to pick up a defense this week. I put $40 on my fab in to pick up the Ravens defense playing the Bengals. Not only because they had the good matchup this week, but Patriots do have a couple sketchy matchups in the playoffs, and the Ravens have good matchups that week, so I might be able to plug them in. But they showed up, got me 2 defensive touchdowns, 27 points. So Ravens defense, this Buffalo Bayou Brewing Company dreamsicle is for you. Thank you.
Well done.
And then Matt, let's look at Matt's matchup. Matt is currently up 100.5 to 88.2, and as long as Russell Wilson and Matt Breida don't break their legs, and Tevin
Well, with
Coleman goes
Breida,
off for
that could be
30, then you're
possible.
good. Yeah. So Matt's gonna win, clinch his playoff spot. I know who you're choosing. I know who it is. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's been a controversial player a little bit.
Yeah.
My boy, Golden Tate.
Golden Tate, the subject of many bad trade offers and all sorts of things. We've been giving Matt shit for a few weeks, talking up Golden Tate being good. Golden Tate's been very solid this year, but he had a big game. What do you have? 23 points.
23.5 points. Yes, 2 touchdowns, 95 yards. I tried to give him away this week. No one wanted him. So you know what? Once the Stafford news came out that he was sitting, I benched Marvin Jones and inserted Golden Tate. And
What a play. What a
did me
plug and
well.
play.
Yeah.
Okay, so who do y'all think is going to make the playoffs? Obviously, y'all two.
So this is to you, Golden Tate. Cheers.
Okay. Well, drink your beer, pussy.
It's a whiskey.
Oh, whiskey.
Okay, so I'm going to look at the scoreboard for next week. So I was telling Matt this. Here's the funny thing. If Michael beats Keegan tonight, then there's going to be 5 teams at 5-5. All 5 of y'all.
It'll be me, Michael, Turpin. Turpin, Derek, and Keegan.
And all 5 of y'all play 5 different. Like none of y'all play each other next week. So y'all could either all win or all lose and still be in the same exact boat.
Wait, no, don't I play? Oh, I play Blake. Yeah.
So pretty much. Well, let me see what those projections for Keegan and Michael look like right now. Michael's projected to win, so it's looking like 5-5 teams for 2 spots.
With
I
2
think
weeks
the playoffs
left.
will be 2 weeks left. See, I think Turpin's team is coming on the strongest, but he has to play Matt next week.
Ooh, who does he have after that?
Kick line.
Okay. I do play the 2 weakest teams in Michael and Blake as far as points scored.
Yeah. So you should make it, but I can't count out Derek.
No.
Man.
Who does he play? Who are his remaining games?
Fuck, I just had it. Let me see.
Eric.
Derek plays.
He plays kick line.
Kick line. And Keegan. That's pretty easy to schedule too.
Is it? Who are his? Let me see who he's got. He might have been done with all his buys though. Oh, and Keegan without Kelsey.
Give me Derek and.
Oh wait, no.
What?
Wait, Derek in week 12 has Melvin Gordon. Wait, this can't be right.
What?
It can't be right,
Week
right?
12, he's got Kyler Murray, Melvin Gordon, Christian Kirk, Chiefs D, Austin Eckler, his kicker, and Rudolph all on bye.
Like
Oh
Ryan
yeah, did
this
you
week.
see my team this week? I had Leonard Fournette, Alshon
No, but
Jeffrey,
I'm just
Royce
saying, yeah,
Freeman,
but
Pat's defense,
you've,
DeAndre Hopkins, Zach Ertz.
you've already got a playoff spot, though. That's going to be week 12.
Well, he's gonna have to make some savvy pickups.
His starters right now that he has in are Chubb, Cooper, and Zach Pascal, who he can play. He will have
Well,
Cortland Sutton and DJ Shark.
well, that makes it sound a lot tougher for Derek in week 12. I liked Derek
He's-
just because he's the Rain Man. I mean, I like you and Austin too. I think it'll come down to y'all three. I personally don't think Keegan or Michael's teams are strong enough. But it's fantasy football, so who the fuck knows?
That
No
is
one.
true. Cooper
What
Cup
makes it
putting him to
great.
0. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So there we go. There's our GFA update. 2 weeks left to the playoffs. Me and Matt going in strong. Find out who we're playing in a couple weeks for the trophy. Matt's never won one. Maybe this is the year.
Only
Probably
hope.
not.
Probably.
Okay, so our next segment, hot topic here in the fantasy and chill war room. We have the topic of a handcuff. What is a handcuff? You might ask yourself. Here's how I would define a handcuff. So we know a handcuff, it's not just a backup running back. Okay. A lot of people think it's just a backup running back. A handcuff has to be somebody that if the starter were to get hurt or miss a game, is someone that you would 100% plug in and play and would be productive. Okay. So that's why I wrote some names down of productive handcuffs. There's some big names that aren't going to be on this list, or big teams, shall I say. For example, I own Christian McCaffrey. If Christian McCaffrey were to get hurt, his backup is that Bonifan guy. Forgot his first name.
Reggie.
Who cares?
Reggie Bonifan.
Is that
I would
really-
not. I think that's it.
It is.
Let me just pull that in. Reggie.
He is not a guy that I would pick up and start because I don't think that he would have any production in that offense like McCaffrey would. Another example of that. I had one on my brain. Saquon Barkley was out for a few weeks. You weren't starting Wayne Gallman. He didn't do shit. He had one good week, but other than that, he could not carry that offense. So I don't consider those like big name have to have handcuffs. So what I've written down here is a list of handcuffs that I think must be owned, especially if you own their starter. Does anybody want to give any other thoughts on just the general concept of a handcuff before we go through these names?
I mean, I don't know. Some people believe in him, some people don't. But early in the season, I don't necessarily believe in him as much as late in the season, especially if you know you have a playoff spot locked up and it really doesn't matter what you do in your last few games. I just go ahead and get mine, especially like he's saying, it depends on the situation also.
Right.
But
So what Britt's saying is that early in the season, depth matters. I feel like because you have buys, you have people that get nicked up and stuff like that. It's nice to have a deep bench, but
well,
once you
and
get
you
close
don't
to
know
the
who's
playoffs,
going to be the stars of the year. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
you're
Like
still
you don't know
figuring
who's
things
going to be
out.
legit.
But we are now 10 weeks into the fantasy football season. We know who the studs are. We know everything we need to know. If you're a team that has already clinched a playoff spot or it's looking like is going to clinch a playoff spot, get your handcuffs any way possible. Whether if
Yeah,
they're
or
free
try.
agents, try to trade for them. Well, the thing with Matt that we'll get into is Matt has just waited too long to try to make a move for his
False.
handcuffs.
Well, not necessarily. Well, his handcuffs got drafted. Like that's a little ridiculous, and they have not hit the waivers at all.
His handcuffs got drafted, and they've shown recently that they're actually pretty damn good, which is going to make it harder to trade for them.
And that's another point too. Like, and also another advantage of having your handcuff is later in the season. If the team, the real life team, already has a playoff spot locked up, they might want to sit their starters. It's happened before. And if that does happen, then that backup becomes a fucking stud that week, which you will be starting. And I mean, it could cost you a championship. Last year, Damian Williams, I had him on my bench. I didn't win, but he was definitely a sure starter for me.
Well, that was a different circumstance.
Well, no,
Kareem,
but
Kareem Hunt got kicked off the team.
no, but why did I have him on my team?
It's a handcuff, I guess.
Exactly. That was my point.
So I'm going to run through some names here. Some of these guys are already owned. Most of these guys actually are already owned. Some of them should be owned. Some of them have shown already play this year. Like some of these guys are in. They're not exactly what you would consider like a true backup to where they don't play at all. They get some time, some touches. But I'm just going to go through them. So the newly acquired Cardinals running back Kenyon Drake. If you watch the game on Sunday, he actually might not even be considered a handcuff now. He might be
Yeah.
the guy because David Johnson. I don't know what happened to David Johnson, but Kenyon Drake, Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt played his first game on Sunday. Nick Chubb is still the guy there, but they surprisingly got Kareem Hunt a lot more involved than I thought they would. And so Kareem Hunt, if you're a Nick Chubb owner, you have to have Kareem Hunt because if anything were to happen to Chubb, Kareem is going to be a workhorse.
He
Roy,
is, but don't overspend for him. Though.
don't overspend for him. And I mean, but
Oh,
like we said,
now you don't
if
wanna
you're just getting
overspend.
handcuffs, then you can trade a guy on your bench that's probably worth more because you're not going to play him anyways.
Yes, if you have a very deep bench, like Matt, give
Well,
away a few of your guys
tried.
for handcuffs.
No, you tried too late,
Yeah.
Matt.
Well, okay. Do you want to start this argument now, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, I want to start the argument because
Trade
there's-
deadline.
Wait,
coming up.
wait.
Let's get to Matt's
Wait.
handcuffs. Let me
Yes,
just skip to the
there you
list.
go.
We have Latavius Murray because Matt owns Alvin Kamara, who's already been banged up this year. And then Alexander Madison because Matt has Dalvin Cook, maybe the most injury-prone running back in the league. So Matt has sat here for 10 weeks, done nothing to try to acquire these two guys.
Wrong.
Meanwhile,
No,
has
I don't
bench
believe
he could've
that. I
traded,
think
like
he's
Jordan Howard and Golden Tate and Marvin Jones and just all this trash that he's not ever going to really play.
Trash.
And
When
he's
we just
making
talked.
moves to get these guys the whole season.
My turn.
Go for
Go
it.
ahead.
Okay, you say I waited too long for Latavius Murray, but before we started the live stream, I said it wasn't known that Latavius Murray was going to be a good handcuff until about 2 weeks ago.
No,
That's
that's not the point, though.
No,
When
that
you
is
draft
no,
it-
no, no, no. Wait, that is the
Hold
point
on.
because why doesn't Ryan own Bonifin right now?
Because he's not going to be a good handcuff.
Exactly.
No. Look, no. You're missing the point, though.
You go, Britt. You go, Britt.
Can I jump in real quick? Latavius Murray, and I didn't believe, I somewhat believe this. People thought he was going to jump into the Mark Ingram role, which he would still be
Okay.
valuable. And
Okay.
so I thought he should have been drafted a little bit higher, but I'm looking at it right now from our draft. Latavius Murray went 1, 2, 3 in the 8th round. So, Matt, like you had a fair chance of getting Latavius. You took Marvin Jones over Latavius Murray.
That's not.
And then Madison
Yes,
went
I
in
could
the
have
10th
drafted him.
round. Huh?
I could have drafted him, but the fact that people are drafting handcuffs.
They both went too early in the draft.
Yes.
No, I agree with that, but if you, it's kind of like what I mean. I regret this 100%, but I took Damian Williams and then I took Darwin Thompson in the 8th round or 9th round. Like I regretted that, but I knew if I would have taken Kamara. I'm sorry, I would have reached for Latavius Murray because he's so valuable. If
Yes.
Kamara goes down,
And I might have taken him in the next round, but the fact that you have people taking handcuffs that early is the reason why Sam might not make the playoffs now because he has no depth. All he has is handcuffs, and he hasn't had one injury that happened to those starting running backs.
I told Sam earlier today, he has probably the best team we're ever going to see not make the playoffs or do shit.
Yeah.
His
and
wide
this is why-
receivers are Julio Jones,
Because he couldn't manage
Keenan Allen.
injuries.
Julio Jones,
'Cause he's
Keenan Allen,
drafting
Devontae
handcuffs.
Adams, and he's got Barkley and Gurley. Pretty stacked
That
team
sounds good on paper, but they haven't performed.
at all.
And then if
He's
he would have
big
traded
shit.
me Madison for Tate, he wouldn't be fucking starting
Or
D.D.
Howard.
Westbrook in his flex.
Emmanuel Sanders walking to the locker room. Not sure
Okay,
what-
Matt, you said that you didn't know that Latavius would be a good handcuff. Latavius has proved it the last few years that he can carry a load.
That
as
is
a
true.
running back.
That is true.
Like, it's not like he just came out of nowhere. He's a veteran that's done it.
And he's going into an offense that utilizes 2 running backs.
It's pretty
We've
hard
known-
in the Saints offense to get touches and not be productive.
Let me bring up his stats because I didn't really look at it before this,
But look,
he
hey,
wasn't doing
look.
that well as the
In Matt's
Ingram
defense,
role.
though, this could be totally irrelevant.
I started him like 2 or 3 weeks last year on the Vikings, and he got me touchdowns.
No. But I'm saying the only way he becomes valuable, like we're saying, is if something happens to Cook or Kamara. Because Matt's still making the playoffs.
Right.
So if you look at his
So-
games before Kamara got injured, he wasn't even doing that well. He was borderline
Because he wasn't
droppable.
the feature.
He was. Latavius Murray was bad.
He was bad, and y'all are trying to say he was in that Ingram role when he wasn't.
No, I did not say that.
No. We were saying at the draft, people thought he was going
Yeah.
to be in the Ingram role. I saw him going, and when I was doing mock drafts, I saw him go as high as 6th, 7th round.
And then you figured out through week 5, oh, he's probably not in the Ingram role.
But hold on, let me ask you a question, Matt. If you would have taken Latavius Murray, you would never drop him. Correct? If you would have drafted him. There's no way you
He'd
would
been
have
on your
dropped him.
team the whole season.
Yeah, there's no way you would have dropped him.
Yeah, because I don't know if there've been people, unless there was someone out there to drop him for. I might have.
No, you wouldn't, because he's
Oh,
way more valuable to you
yeah.
than anybody in the league.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like you should have reached for him. Look, you're
Not
not on
reached.
trial here, okay?
Other people reached for him before I could even reach for him.
Yeah,
No, but you didn't reach for him, though.
I don't
You were
reach. When I
waiting
draft,
for
I
him.
don't reach. If you start reaching for
That's
players,
what we're saying. When you, but if you take Kamara, I feel like you have to. Like I reached on Darwin Thompson. It was a terrible decision, but
So
I
what
felt
you
like I
could have
had to
done,
do it.
Matt, is you just said to yourself that Latavius Murray was god awful the first half of the season. Pick him up then for nothing.
no. But then why don't you own Bonifin right now?
Because he's I'm saying Latavius has proved it in the past that he can be a feature running
That
back.
is true. Yeah.
Bonifin's gotten
Yeah, and
this many carries in his life.
Yeah.
5. If you're listening, I held up 5.
Some small hands.
Well, they do the job.
I never believed in Latavius. Still
Okay,
don't.
well, I'm telling you that he's had good.
Hold
He-
on.
He's been good. in the
Okay,
past.
Matt. Hold
his
on.
2 good games
If
he had
Kamara-
were against Chicago and Arizona.
If
2 of the
Kamara
worst
goes
run
down,
defenses.
Chicago. a
Chicago
good
has been
defense.
bad in the
they
run
have been
defense.
kind of bad. If Kamara goes down, though, you're starting Latavius Murray if you have him.
Well, now, yeah.
100%. That's what we're saying.
But I've already admitted I've tried trading for him, but I can't right now.
Too late.
No.
You waited. You waited until after he scored 30 2 weeks in a row.
And
You
I-
could still go get him
Keegan's
right
not
now.
gonna
No,
trade
I
him out.
can't.
No,
I
he
can't.
can't
could
for what
still
he
take
wants to
advantage
trade. Yeah,
of it.
I've seen the messages.
Who did you offer, Keegan?
Matt Breida.
Yeah, but Keegan's Yeah, you might have to offer him like Golden Tate or something now.
I offered
but
him Golden
No, he
Tate.
won't take that either.
Now, maybe.
Offered him Kenyon Drake.
Keegan wants Dalvin Cook for him.
Yeah. We can move on. We spent a lot of time on Latavius.
Because not that I'm not necessarily blaming you for not having him. I'm blaming you for the thought process of why you didn't think you needed him.
True.
No,
Yes.
I never said I
But
didn't
hold
need
on.
him.
Because I've seen you try to acquire him the last few weeks. Like I said, you waited too late. But the fact that you thought a couple weeks ago when we were talking about this, that all you would offer for him was Golden Tate, who hadn't really done shit yet. I
No.
thought I was
In-
like, trade Jordan Howard, and you probably could have got him, and you didn't.
In
Trade
Matt's
Jordan
defense,
Howard,
though,
the number 15 running back right now.
How many times have you played him?
Once, and I
Once.
might be playing him in the playoffs.
Okay, there's my point. You don't know
In-
that though. But if
hold on.
Kamara gets hurt 100%, you're starting Latavius Murray.
In Matt's defense, though, he has always played fantasy like this. Like he does not value. He values like
And let me come back with a point there. In our defense, how many championships does Matt have?
I made the playoffs more than anyone. Sorry to
Zero,
say.
Matt.
he.
You got to
Yeah,
risk
but
it to get the biscuit.
no, you get lucky in fantasy. Matt's always had a very decent team.
Oh, he's always been good at fantasy, but sometimes good isn't great.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, great is better than good, if that's what you're saying.
And we'll see.
don't
We'll
know.
see if Bonifin's worth owning when if McCaffrey goes down, and then you're gonna have to
I guess
have
we
him,
will.
and someone's gonna
He
pick
ain't
him
going
up.
down, hopefully.
Mm,
I mean, not
Yeah.
there.
I like that. Hopefully,
Because
at
you're
the
always
end.
saying if Kamara goes down, I'm fucked. But if McCaffrey goes down,
No,
you're just
we're
as
not
fucked
saying
as
you have a
No.
deep
Matt,
team.
we're saying that
just saying
Latavius Murray is completely different than Bonifant. That's the point of this whole list.
You don't know
I
that.
made. All these guys are guys that you would plug in and play 100%.
it's you can't even
Okay,
like
Royce
that's kind
Freeman's
of
on the list. I don't know about that.
What'd you say?
I said Royce Freeman's on this list, so I don't know.
He's already been productive as a number 2. You remember that? You forget when I played you that touchdown he scored against you? Do you forget that?
They've been
2
splitting.
carries for 10 yards and a touchdown. I remember.
Yeah. Should we get back to the list?
Yeah. But I'm not talking about Latavius now, but my definition of a handcuff is if you have opportunity, if you're talented, and your team is somewhat talented. But like with Royce Freeman, he might get the opportunity, but I don't think he's very talented, and his team isn't very good. So I don't consider him a necessary like handcuff to own.
But he's already been a productive player.
That's back to our point, though. Like, Latavius is worth more because he does play for a proven team who runs the ball and is always going to be relevant.
Yeah, they looked great last week.
Okay,
Right,
rest of
Elena.
this list, we said Drake, Hunt, and Freeman. Jamal Williams, he's another one that's already kind of a part of the offense. He's had some big games. But Britt is an Aaron Jones owner, and he has Jamal Williams because if Aaron Jones does go down, Jamal Williams is going to put up some points in that offense. Jalen Samuels, we're already seeing that. Jalen Samuels stepping in for James Conner. Didn't have a great week, yesterday.
I think Connor's going to be back this week. So.
But Jalen Samuels, Matt Breida, once again, has already been productive for Coleman, but he's a guy that you need to own. Here's a true handcuff, Tony Pollard, because he's doing nothing right now. But I think if Zeke were to get hurt, Pollard would be productive.
And Zeke's one of those guys who's not getting hurt. I mean, knock on wood, I guess, but you do want Pollard, and you can get him cheap too right now.
Yeah. He's another. Sam owns him too, right? Doesn't he have all the handcuffs?
He does.
Okay, Austin Eckler. We saw what he does as the handcuff because he was the starter for the first few weeks with Gordon out, and he was very productive. Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown, I listed both of them for Todd Gurley.
Your boy,
We already
Britt.
talked about Madison and Murray. Rashad Penny, here's a guy
Yes.
for Chris Carson.
Own
If you're a
him.
Chris Carson owner,
Yep.
make sure you have Penny.
Seattle's probably going to be playing for home field advantage or something.
Carson is also injury prone a little bit
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Miles
true.
Sanders. He's kind of
fumbling
Yeah.
Miles
prone.
Sanders is splitting now with Jordan Howard. He's another one of those guys that's already doing stuff.
True.
And then Gus Edwards. If you own Mark Ingram, I would have Gus Edwards.
Yes, Turpin actually listened to my advice last week and went ahead and picked up Gus Edwards. So
Is he really must own though?
And that
But if
I
offense,
have Mark
the way they're
Ingram-
running now, I would say yes.
if I have a decent team and I'm going to make the playoffs, why not own Gus Edwards? There's
I
no
think-
reason not to.
So Ingram, where they play the Bengals just recently, and they're up by 40. You figure, they're pounding the ball. I think Ingram ended up with 9
Not
carries.
with Ingram though. Look, we're about to see. I already mentioned the defenses they're about to go up against. We're about to see. And Ingram does have a juicy playoffs.
Like Lamar is their best running back they have.
That is true. He's not a running back.
Oh yeah, my bad. He throws the ball a little bit.
I don't like labels, Matt.
Okay, so that was it ended up turning into what I thought it would turn into, talking about handcuffs, but it was a nice little discussion about handcuffs. So my main idea, if you own a guy that has a backup running back that you know is going to be productive if he were to fill in, just pick him up, own him. Don't be like Matt.
Hey, I could have picked him up. I would have. And the fact that people go back on their trades twice, that also helped.
Ooh, personal.
Juicy.
Yeah, but we didn't really talk about Madison. We'll save that for another one.
Ooh.
So Sam, he went back on his trades.
I mean, I waited like a few days between the offers, but I ended up accepting both of them, and they said, "Oh, it's too late now." So,
Interesting.
Britt's in a hurry
Alright.
to end this podcast, so we'll.
The waiver
move on.
wire.
All right, Matt, hit it.
Oh, I don't have it ready. I was too busy arguing.
What do we pay you for?
Waiver
Fuck.
claims.
Waiver claims. Okay, real quick waiver wire. Like we said, the later we get in the season, just the shorter this list gets. But we did have a starting running back go down this week. His replacement was actually decently productive, scored a touchdown. Brian Hill of the Falcons. Devontae Freeman, it looks like, is going to be out for a couple of weeks. Ito Smith was just put on the IR. So Brian Hill is the last man standing. If you're in a bind and need a guy to step in and be a starting running back, Brian Hill.
If the ship is sinking
Or you're in a 20-team league.
If you
and
need a
you're
Hail
holding
Mary,
on for dear life,
throw it to Brian Hill. Britt, who do they play this week?
I have no clue. I
You're
can pull it
supposed
up
to
in
know
one
this.
though.
They did say Devontae's getting an MRI today. He's probably already had it by now, so check the news, see what he's looking like.
Let's see. They have so they play Tampa Bay. They play Carolina, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Carolina, San Francisco, Jacksonville. Those are some
Yeah, I
pretty
don't want
tough
that.
matchups.
That's rough.
Carolina is actually a bottom 10 run defense.
Yeah,
So.
Carolina's not that great, but
Tampa Bay, New Orleans, San Francisco,
Those are pretty good
Jacksonville.
run defenses. But I'm saying just if you need a Hail Mary this week, Brian Hill might be your guy.
Yeah, pick him up.
A couple receivers that it seems like are always on here: Devontae Parker and James Washington. Devontae Parker, he's doing it. Oh, Clowney just had a scoop and score. Devontae Parker had another good week for the Dolphins, and then James, he had been hurt. He has that Oklahoma State connection with Mason Rudolph. So both of those guys should be available.
Another one, or I got a few more. Cole Beasley, only 32% owned. Actually, somewhat decent. They're going up against Miami also. Kenny Stills, 27% owned. I think Will Fuller is going to be out, right?
Good.
Yeah. And then Mecole Hardman, what did he have? One catch for 60 yards and a touchdown or whatever
That's
it was?
all those Chiefs receivers. Which one's going to catch the bomb?
And then the guy we talked about earlier who went off, Darius Slayton. I mean, I know that Evan Ingram might be out a little bit more. And I mean, I don't know, 10 catches, 120 yards, and what was it, 2 or 3 touchdowns? Fuck it.
2.
Throw a dart, motherfucker.
Couple more guys. We got 2 QBs and 2 tight ends. The QBs, Britt's boy Sam Darnold.
Is he my boy? I kind of disowned him.
You picked him up and talked good about him. So
I did. Okay, fuck. I'll take him.
Okay, Darnold or Ryan Tannehill?
Tannehill.
Since taking over the job. Actually had very good fantasy numbers. Beat the Chiefs this week. Had a rushing touchdown. And then the tight ends. O.J. Howard. Britt, you should have started him.
I mean, he got 4 more points. I did. I had him in there. He had a juicy matchup. It was just the only thing that I basically put in my hands was Drew Brees or Jameis Winston. And so that was pretty easy. So. And
then another tight end, Kyle Rudolph.
Your boy.
Started off the game yesterday, 2 catches, 2 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ended up having a decent week. And we're talking about tight ends here, guys. Remember, if they score a touchdown, then they're an elite tight end. So
basically
how it goes. That's it. That's all I got. Can't believe that we're already 2 weeks left in the regular season for fantasy. It's pretty crazy how fast
it's been zooming.
It is crazy.
So good luck as you make your final push to the playoffs. We hit us up, Instagram at Fantasy and Chill, Twitter at Fantasy and Chill. Subscribe on the podcast app. Subscribe on YouTube, Twitch at Fantasy and Chill. I think that's all of them. Be looking for us again. Hit us up with your questions. Keep those coming. We'll be going live every Sunday morning before the games. Me and Matt might hit you with a road show this week on our way back from the casino.
I didn't think about that.
Did Garoppolo just get sacked for a touchdown? Clowney? What?
Welcome to 15 minutes ago.
I said that. Yeah.
Oh, wasn't listening. Sorry.
Yeah, like
typical.
Usual.
All right.
But anyways, we're going to the casino this weekend. Going to win a lot of money. Me and Matt will hit you up with a live stream to get ready for Sunday morning's games.
Wait. You just cut me out?
Are you riding back with us?
You don't go to church one day? Oh, I'm not going to be there Sunday. Oh,
I guess you could join.
I forgot. We have phones now.
You can join. But you're leaving early. Oh, we got to go home and take care of the baby.
Yeah, dude, who has babies?
Don't you have a kid sometime? Talk to me.
Sounds terrible.
It's kind of fun. My wife does everything, so.
Yeah, hopefully she doesn't listen to this.
That was the most true thing Britt's ever said on this podcast. So with that, we out.
I'm bad at fantasy.
It's kind of, sort of like a, what is fun? Let me spell it for you. Friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for any.
Drop the low, Ryan.
Time at all.
We might get a seizure.
Idiotic.